Big moves in GLP-1s this week. Lilly and Novo face off over obesity pills. Pfizer spends billions to stage a comeback. And new research could change everything from dosing to muscle loss to even how our bodies handle alcohol. States are going Ozempic broke, supplements are crashing, and monthly shots may be on the horizon. Stick around because the future of GLP-1s is unfolding fast.
Hello there and welcome back to the Downsize News. It's Monday, September 22nd, 2025. Thanks for tuning in. Today we're diving into the latest on GLP-1s. I'm Laraine Durham and I've lost 50 pounds with the GLP-1 drug tirzepatide. This medicine has changed my life and we are happy to keep you up to date with the latest information. We bring you the news every week as we get more and more information on the benefits of GLP-1s. Stick around for news and updates that you might not see anywhere else.
I'm Christopher Durham and I've lost 100 pounds on this adventure with GLP-1s. What we share here is our real experience. It's not theory. We're here to share the real story about the medications that have changed our lives, the news shaping our access, the challenges along the way, and the science bringing new options.
If you're new to our channel, welcome. And if you've been with us for a while, welcome back. We always like to remind everyone that we're not doctors, but we have lost weight with the help of GLP-1 medications. We share videos on GLP-1 topics every single day, so make sure to hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss an episode.
From Mounjaro and Zepbound to Wegovy and Ozempic, from semaglutide to tirzepatide, and even the new GLP-1s in development, we cover it all. From the latest research and policy changes to new medications on the horizon. We are here to break down what really matters for those of us treating the disease of obesity with GLP-1s.
Let's get to it. In story number one, the war for the oral GLP-1 obesity market has officially begun. Within just a few days of each other, Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk unveiled phase 3 trial results for their not yet launched oral options. The competing press releases painted two very different pictures. On one side, we have Lilly's orforglipron, marketed as a first-in-class small molecule. This once-daily pill helped patients lose an average of 12.4% of their body weight, or about 27 pounds, at 72 weeks in the ATTAIN-1 trial. Beyond weight loss, Lilly emphasized broad health improvements. Cholesterol, triglycerides, blood pressure, inflammation, and blood sugar all moved in the right direction. For people with prediabetes, the company highlighted that up to 91% normalized their glucose levels. Lilly's message was clear. This is a primary care-friendly pill that could reach millions, backed by wide-ranging health benefits. On the other side, we have Novo Nordisk's oral semaglutide 25 milligram, branded as Wegovy in a pill, pending FDA approval. In the OASIS-4 trial, patients lost an average of 16.6% of their body weight at 64 weeks, with more than 1 in 3 participants shedding 20% of their body weight or more. Novo's emphasis was on efficacy and benchmarks. The press release leaned into direct comparisons with injectable Wegovy, underscoring that the pill matches the high bar already set by its blockbuster injection. Novo also stressed readiness. Manufacturing is underway in the U.S. and they've already filed with the FDA. The tone of each announcement revealed just as much as the numbers themselves. Lilly's pitch was about accessibility and integration, a small molecule pill that doctors can prescribe widely with no restrictions on food or water. Novo's pitch was about strength and continuity, delivering the same proven semaglutide efficacy in pill form with a familiar safety profile and supply chain already spinning up. So what does this rivalry mean for patients? At first glance, the answer is more choice, and that's a win right there. Pills remove the barrier of self-injection, which could bring millions more people into treatment. Both companies showed clinically meaningful results, though Novo posted a higher percentage of body weight lost. The differences in study design and duration make direct comparisons tricky, but the message is unmistakable. These are powerful new tools in the battle against the disease of obesity. The bigger question is pricing. Will oral GLP-1s come with the same sky-high list prices as their injectable cousins, or will competition finally push affordability in the right direction? With obesity affecting more than 650 million people worldwide, Even small shifts in pricing could determine whether these medicines remain luxury products for the few or accessible treatments for the many. For now, what we're seeing is two pharma giants jockeying for position before either pill even hits pharmacy shelves. Lilly expects to file for obesity approval by the end of this year, while Novo's FDA review is already underway. The race is on, but the finish line is the same. Who can win over patients, providers, and payers, and at what cost? It's coming.
Yeah, I mean, they're both probably 6 months out at least, and they're already going, hey, put your dukes up. I can beat you.
And isn't Lilly already manufacturing the pill as well?
Yeah.
So
I mean, they say they have millions of doses, yeah.
They're already ready. Like, as soon as the FDA signs off, it'll be off to the races.
Yeah, I mean, the real question is going to be pricing. There's really no question about, these medications will work. Will they work as effectively as an injectable? Maybe not. And does it actually matter for most of people who have never taken a GLP-1?
Yeah.
So if they can come in $100 down, $200 down, $300 down.
Yeah, could you imagine if you had a pill that you paid, say, $25 a month for?
Girl, it's not getting there anytime soon.
That promised to keep your weight off for the rest of your life? I mean, that's revolutionary. And so many people are afraid of needles. This brings so many more people into the GLP-1 space.
I mean, it'll be interesting. It looks like both of them will debut these medications on their NovoCare and Lilly Direct sites because it's an accessibility thing. The U.S. administration wants more of that. So it looks like that's going to happen. So the cash price should come in aggressive. Now, what aggressive means to Lilly and Novo and what it means to you and I are two different things. It's not going to be $25. I can tell you that. That's a crazy thought.
I mean, we can think it that. I mean, I would hope for somewhere in the range of $199. I think it should be priced below the Lilly vial direct price, which is what, $4.99 for most doses.
Which at half price would put it at $250. Is it going to get to that? I don't know. I'd love to see that. We'll see. I don't know. There's a lot of people saying it'll come in about an equal price. It should come in at least $100 less. At least $100 less.
You don't have to ship it cold. Like, there's so many cost savings there.
I mean, they launched this at $199 and it's a blockbuster overnight. It's the biggest drug in the world.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Story number 2, Pfizer's making headlines again, this time with a bold move back into the obesity race. The company is spending $4.9 billion to acquire Metsera, one of the fastest rising biotechs in the field. For the last 2 years, Pfizer's track record in obesity has been rocky, to say the least. One after another, its in-house GLP-1 drug candidates were shelved. Lotiglipron in 2023 after liver concerns, Danuglipron in 2024 after toxicities. In this spring, the last of its pipeline was discontinued. For many, it looks like Pfizer had stepped away from the obesity space. But this week's announcement signals the opposite. With Metsera, Pfizer gains a next-generation portfolio, a long-acting GLP-1 candidate called MET-097I and an amylin analog, MET-233I. Both are being studied alone and in combination with early results showing promising weight loss outcomes. In phase 2 testing, MET-097I delivered more than 11% weight loss after just 12 weekly doses. Meanwhile, the amylin candidate showed encouraging reductions in body weight in a little over a month. The deal also brings 2 oral GLP-1 therapies about to enter clinical trials and a preclinical nutrient-stimulated hormone program. Evidence that Metsera is thinking well beyond today's standard injections. Pfizer is paying $47.50 per share, a 42% premium over Metsera's Friday close, plus up to another $22.50 per share if certain clinical and regulatory milestones are met. The companies expect the transaction to close later this year. Pfizer's CEO Albert Bourla called obesity a large and growing space. No pun intended, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Pointing to more than 200 health conditions tied to the disease. For Pfizer, this deal is about reestablishing a foothold in one of the most competitive and valuable areas in modern medicine. Analysts welcomed the acquisition, but noted that Metsera's drugs remain in early stages and need larger data sets before the risks can be better understood. For GLP-1 users, though, the story is about more than one company's comeback. Expanded competition in obesity drugs means more innovation, more approaches, and eventually more options for patients. And with giants like Pfizer stepping back into the ring, it also creates pressure on pricing. Right now, GLP-1s remain among the most expensive prescriptions in the United States. More players with strong pipelines could force the industry to compete not only on science, but on affordability. Pfizer may have stumbled before, but with Metsera, it's setting the stage for an obesity comeback and potentially giving patients the one thing they've been waiting for: better treatments at prices that don't feel out of reach.
Pfizer's back in it now.
Well, and the interesting thing is Pfizer has the cash and the knowledge and the experience to launch at scale. Metsera, super cool company, but no one was really sure how they were going to bring it to market.
Yeah.
Pfizer can do it. There's no question about it.
They paid $4 billion for Metsera.
And then there's a whole option in there if they hit clinical trial data. There's another $22.50 per share.
If your meds are good, we'll give you more.
That's almost doubles the price. It's crazy.
In story number 3, Lexa Bioscience has shared early but intriguing results from a rodent study that could change the way GLP-1 medications are delivered. Their DehydraTECH technology was tested with a fluorescently tagged version of semaglutide, the active ingredient in drugs like Ozempic, Wegovy, and Rybelsus. DehydraTECH enhances the oral deliverability and performance of several categories of generally poorly soluble active molecules and drugs. What the researchers found is striking. The DehydraTECH formulation showed higher levels of semaglutide in the brain compared to a Rybelsus-like composition. In fact, a 5 milligram DehydraTECH dose produced more brain signal than a 15 milligram Rybelsus equivalent dose. That suggests a more efficient way of getting the drug where it really matters. This could be especially important because GLP-1 medications work in part by activating receptors in the brain that regulate appetite and reward. If more of the drug can get to those brain regions, the result may be stronger appetite suppression with fewer side effects, such as nausea. Rodent research has even suggested that drugs acting directly on the brain may quiet food cravings without triggering the discomfort patients often describe. For patients, the potential here is twofold: better tolerability and improved results. And for the industry, it's a signpost. These findings, though early and still limited to animals, position Lexa as a possible partner for major pharmaceutical companies racing to refine GLP-1 therapies. It's important to note that this is preliminary science. The results need to be validated in larger and longer studies and in humans. But if the brain delivery benefits hold up, DehydraTECH could offer a new way forward in the intensely competitive world of obesity and diabetes treatment.
So think about that. What this says, and it's a very small study, was that the dose was almost 5 times.
The problem with oral doses, it has to be digested and go through your liver and everything before it gets to your brain. But if they put this DehydraTECH technology with the active ingredient and then you ingest it orally, more of the active ingredient makes it to your brain.
The same effect, I think they said 5 to 15 milligrams.
Yeah. So less side effects, but stronger effect on your brain, which sounds good.
Well, and you figure, generally the question about all these orals is how does the liver handle them? So,
right.
The reduced amount of medication has got to be easier for the liver to process, right? Story number 4, for millions of people starting a GLP-1 is a leap of hope. But staying on it can feel like a struggle. Studies show nearly half of patients stop within 6 months, and 6 out of 10 within a year. For many, the problem is dosing. Too fast, and side effects can be overwhelming. Too slow, and patients may lose faith that the medicine is working. Many end up adjusting their own doses without guidance, which only adds to the challenge. That's the problem a company called Closed Loop Medicine is trying to solve. Based in the United Kingdom, they've built their reputation around something very specific, combining drug therapy with digital health platform to create truly personalized dosing. Their earlier work at hypertension showed that this approach can deliver better outcomes, reduce side effects, and improve adherence. Now, for the first time, they're applying it for GLP-1s. The platform is called WeDosify, and here's what it does. It takes clinical data, nearly 30 studies and more than 15,000 patient profiles, and blends that with advanced pharmacokinetic and pharmacodynamic modeling. In plain English, that means it can predict how a person's body will likely respond to a medication over time. Based on that, it generates personalized titration options for the doctor to review, and it doesn't stop there. As the patient continues on therapy, those recommendations update in real time, reflecting changes in tolerance, treatment goals, and progress. For the patient, the experience is meant to feel more supportive. Instead of a fixed schedule that may or may not fit, they see a roadmap that adapts to them. For the clinician, it means making dosing decisions with the best available evidence, rather than guesswork or patient trial and error. The company even says WeDosify can simulate treatment scenarios, letting providers see what might happen before making a change. The response so far has been promising. 91% of GLP-1 users surveyed said they'd be more likely to stay on therapy with this kind of support. One patient described it simply: having data helps you make personalized decisions and makes you more engaged with your weight loss adventure. Clinicians in Texas are among the first in the United States to put it into practice, and the company sees this as more than just a product launch. They argue it fits into a bigger picture, helping meet federal goals for precision prescribing, reducing adverse drug events, and creating a more patient-centric digital health ecosystem. Kate Woland, the company's CEO, calls WeDosify a genuine game changer. She says it's the first time patients can see what their weight loss path might look like while making real-time decisions with their doctor. For a GLP-1 market projected to reach $100 billion by the end of the decade, the stakes are high. But for patients, the stakes are personal. Staying on treatment, reducing side effects, and reaching their goals may come down to something as simple and as powerful as a dosing plan designed just for them. So, this is cool technology. We've seen a couple of other platforms that have tried to do this. See if it works. I don't know if they're only working with the manufacturer's set dosages, 2.55, whatever, or if they're also looking at in-between doses that could be done with a vial.
Could be more personalized.
Right, because then, I know Lilly and Novo love those pens, but if you could have the dose right for you, that's got to be the correct answer.
In story number 5, in Baton Rouge this week, state lawmakers were warned that Louisiana is on the verge of what one senator colorfully called going Ozempic broke. It's a sharp way of putting a problem that is both financial and deeply human. The state's Office of Group Benefits, which insures more than 200,000 teachers, state workers, and retirees, is now spending roughly $200 million a year on GLP-1 medications like Ozempic and Mounjaro. These drugs were developed to treat type 2 diabetes, but today they are equally known for helping people lose weight. And while Louisiana's state insurance covers them for diabetes, it does not for obesity. Even so, demand is soaring. Heath Williams, who runs the Office of Group Benefits, told legislators that just a few years ago, the state spent about $2 million annually on metformin, a far less expensive diabetes medication. Today, he said, those prescriptions have shifted to GLP-1s, which can cost $1,200 a month. That means the state is moving patients from $20 prescriptions to ones that are 50 times higher. Lawmakers approved new contracts with pharmacy benefit managers this week, hoping they can negotiate better prices and shed light on why prescriptions are climbing so quickly. Because they work. Still, the numbers are sobering. Out of a total $2 billion annual budget, $1 in $10 is now going to these drugs. Governor Jeff Landry earlier this year vetoed a proposal that would have extended coverage for obesity treatment, saying Louisiana simply cannot afford to take on those costs. In a letter to lawmakers, he warned that even temporary coverage would create expectations for long-term treatment, something he believes the state cannot sustain. At the same time, some legislators, frustrated by the rising bills, floated the idea of covering compounded versions of GLP-1s. These are copycat drugs made by compounding pharmacies, and while they are less expensive, they are not FDA approved. For patients, all of this adds up to a confusing landscape. The science behind GLP-1s is real, and so are the results. But the tug-of-war over cost, coverage, and safety leaves many caught in the middle. For Louisiana, the debate is more than numbers in a budget. It is about teachers trying to manage their health, state employees navigating chronic disease, and families who see these medications not as a line item, but a hope for a healthier future.
It's interesting, they've hired a new PBM to help them negotiate. So, I mean, these guys have a huge budget. Surely they can walk into Lilly and Novo and go, we have this, give us a better price. Doesn't sound like they have. Or maybe the PBM's taking too big a cut and the negotiation's not working.
Yeah, I wish Lilly could negotiate a little bit on their prices with these big state-funded healthcare systems. I don't know why they would still keep the list price when you're bringing thousands of people to the drug.
Well, I mean, you've got basically two different ends of the same spectrum, right? You've got one where the state's just spending so much money, and you understand short term, it's a lot of money. And they should be able to negotiate for a better price, but it doesn't sound like they are. I don't know that Lilly said yes or no. It just doesn't sound like they're doing it.
It just doesn't sound like Lilly wants to negotiate.
Well, maybe. We don't know. We don't know what's happened, right? You have the other side where long term, certainly the benefit of having fewer obese people in the state of Louisiana is financially a good thing.
Right. So long
but
term.
But nobody says 20 years from now because the state budget is today.
You have the budget you have today. So how do you work within your budget today, even knowing that these medications are going to make your state much healthier?
I gotta believe that if Louisiana or any state walks into Novo or Lilly and says, "Hey, we will buy 100,000 doses.
I'll put all my people on your medication if we could get a better price.
If you give it to me
it's the Walmart theory of prescriptions. It's volume buying, right?
I just think PBMs either are not doing it or they're so bad at it or they're taking a huge cut that it's not happening. So
we need some clothing merchants
to go PBMs out of the way.
Negotiate some prices.
I don't know, my 19-year-old who can negotiate a better price. Story number 6, GLP-1 medications are already changing the way we think about obesity, you and I know that, but new research suggests that they may also be changing the way our bodies handle alcohol. A team at Yale School of Medicine studied mice on semaglutide and other GLP-1 receptor agonists. What they found was striking. These drugs reduced a liver enzyme called CYP2E1. That's the enzyme responsible for turning alcohol into acetaldehyde, one of the most damaging byproducts for the liver. With lower levels of that enzyme, the liver made fewer toxic metabolites. In simple terms, the medications offered a protective effect. But there's another side to this story because the liver wasn't breaking alcohol down as quickly. Blood alcohol levels actually rose higher and stayed elevated for longer. That means someone on a GLP-1 drug could drink what feels like a normal amount, yet see a bigger impact on their blood alcohol level and their coordination. Dr. Wajahet Mahel, who led the study, explained it this way. If you're taking semaglutide, then your body will likely handle alcohol differently. This discovery adds to the growing evidence that GLP-1s could play a role in treating alcohol use disorder and alcohol-associated liver disease. Ongoing trials are already testing semaglutide for patients with liver damage tied to drinking, and even if someone doesn't reduce their alcohol intake, the research suggests they may still see some liver protection. Still, important questions remain. What happens when alcohol lingers in the bloodstream longer? Does it put more strain on the brain or increase the risk of intoxication at lower levels? Those answers will only come from more human studies. With millions of adults in the United States now using GLP-1s and about half of adults drinking alcohol, the intersection of these two trends is impossible to ignore. The science is still unfolding, but it's becoming clear that these medications are reshaping far more than just weight loss.
Yeah, so you drink less and feel more effects on a GLP-1.
Right, and this may have some protective effect for your liver, and some science is out there making little mixed drinks for a mouse.
Rats. The rats with their little Cosmo martini.
I know they're not really doing that, but...
And story number 7, when we talk about GLP-1 medications like semaglutide, the headline is almost always the same. How much weight someone lost. But there's another story underneath the number on the scale that matters just as much, and that is the quality of that weight loss. Here's what we mean. On semaglutide, about a third of the weight that comes off isn't fat at all, it's lean muscle. Losing that muscle can lower your metabolism, weaken your body, and make it harder to keep the weight off over time. At the European Association for the Study of Diabetes meeting in Hamburg, Regeneron presented results from a phase 2 study they called the COURAGE trial. This study looked at semaglutide in combination with an experimental antibody called trevogrumab, which blocks a protein called myostatin. Myostatin normally limits muscle growth, so the idea here was simple. Can we protect muscle while still driving fat loss? The results were eye-opening. After 26 weeks, patients on semaglutide alone lost about 10.5% of their body weight, and 1/3 of that loss was lean muscle. But when semaglutide was combined with trevogrumab, the amount of muscle loss was nearly cut in half. At the same time, fat loss actually improved. Both things we want. In the highest dose combination, more than 90% of the weight that came off was fat. Researchers also saw encouraging changes in waist circumference, cholesterol, blood pressure, triglycerides, and A1C. It wasn't all good news. When a second antibody called garistomab was added to the mix, the combination caused more side effects, higher dropout rates, and 2 deaths in patients who already had cardiovascular risk factors. No causal link was proven, but the safety concerns are real and will need to be studied carefully. Still, the COURAGE trial highlights something important. The future of obesity medicine may not be just about losing weight, it may be about improving what kind of weight you lose. Protecting muscle while targeting fat could mean stronger bodies, healthier outcomes, and a better chance of keeping the weight off long term. This is early research, but it's a glimpse at the next chapter where GLP-1s are combined with other therapies to reshape weight loss from the inside out.
So we reported on this a couple of times as they've released some findings.
Death.
Well,
that.
but there's 2 different medications there that was at.
Yeah.
That second one, obviously not a good thing.
That second one's not going to make it, I have a feeling.
I don't think so.
But
no.
if you can, any medication that would help you keep your muscle and increase your fat loss, yeah, that's what everybody wants on any kind of diet, right? Because we always lose some muscle anytime we lose weight.
I looked at this story, and certainly the 2 deaths were concerning. But I like to include them because it's what really happened.
I mean, it is what really happened. I mean, people don't realize there's so many medications in development, and a lot of them just aren't going to make it to market,
Yep. Story number 8, a small biotech from Beijing is stepping onto the global obesity stage with some eye-catching results. QL Biopharm says its experimental drug called Zovaglutide could deliver the same kind of weight loss we've seen from weekly GLP-1s like Wegovy and Zepbound, but with just 1 injection a month. In a phase 2 study of more than 300 people in China who were overweight or living with obesity, patients lost between 10.6% and 14.4% of their body weight over 24 weeks. The strongest results came from those who received a 160 milligram dose every 2 weeks. But here's what caught attention. The monthly 160 milligram dose was nearly as effective at almost 14% weight loss, and weight loss hadn't plateaued at a 24-week mark. The company is quick to compare its numbers with the 24-week data from Eli Lilly's tirzepatide and Novo Nordisk's semaglutide. Those kinds of cross-trial comparisons aren't perfect, but QL Biopharm clearly believes it has something that can compete with the giants. So how do you make a GLP-1 last an entire month? QL Biopharm added dual fatty acid change to the molecule, which extend its half-life by helping it bind to albumin in the blood. In lab studies, that change made the drug 2 to 4 times longer lasting than semaglutide. Safety looks familiar too, and most common side effects were the same gastrointestinal issues patients already know from GLP-1s, and they lessened once people reached their target dose. Interestingly, the monthly regimen actually caused fewer stomach problems than the every 2 week schedule. The next step is phase 3 trials, where we'll learn whether monthly dosing can truly rival the weekly shots that dominate the market today. And if it does, it raises an important question for patients. Would fewer injections make staying on treatment easier and maybe even cheaper in the long run?
Yes and yes. I mean, 1 shot a month or 1 shot every 2 weeks with the same effects as a weekly shot.
And the side effects don't sound like they were any
Same.
different.
So they studied 300 people in China. So that's a big study. Exciting. In story number 9, it's been just under 2 years since Roche jumped headfirst into the world of obesity drugs with its $2.7 billion purchase of Carmot Therapeutics. That's not pocket change, even for a giant like Roche. And now the big question everyone's asking is, was it worth it? At first, the answer looked like a resounding yes. Roche inherited CT-388, an injectable dual GLP-1 and GIP drug. In a mid-stage trial, it delivered almost 19% placebo-adjusted weight loss in just 24 weeks. 19%. To put that in perspective, Novo Nordisk's Wegovy hit about 15% by 68 weeks. That kind of result made a lot of people sit up and take notice. But not everything Carmot brought to the table lived up to the hype. Another asset, a PYY analog called CT-173, has already been scrapped. Roche's CEO said bluntly that when they ran it up against their internal standards, it just didn't make the cut. That's the reality of drug development. Some things make it, others don't. Still, Roche isn't slowing down. In fact, they doubled down last year, striking a $1.6 billion deal with Zealand Pharma to co-develop a long-acting amylin drug called petrelintide. Amylin works different than GLP-1s, and Roche is betting that it could give patients more choice, maybe a different side effect profile, maybe a different level of weight loss. We'll know more when the Phase 2b Zupreme-1 trial reads out in 2026. Analysts are already saying this one could carve out real market share if it performs. Roche is also building the infrastructure to back up its ambitions. They've broken ground on a $700 million manufacturing plant here in North Carolina to handle fill finish for their obesity drugs. That's a serious sign they're thinking long term. So what's next? Everyone's watching to see if Roche takes CT-388 into Phase 3 trials. Their CEO says they're right on the cusp of that decision. We may get clarity as soon as this coming Monday when Roche holds its Pharma Day event in London. All of this comes at a fascinating moment. Novo Nordisk is restructuring after some disappointing pipeline data. And even Eli Lilly, still the front runner, is having to defend weaker oral GLP-1 results. Roche clearly sees an opening here. And that's really the bigger picture. Yet another story that points to growing competition in the obesity treatment space. And for patients who are desperate for more options, better accessibility, and yes, better pricing, that competition is a good sign.
I think it's cool. I think it's also interesting to note we live in North Carolina, just outside of Charlotte. North Carolina is becoming the hub of GLP-1 manufacturing.
I wonder where it is in North Carolina.
I don't know. They didn't say specifically, but basically between Charlotte, or really Concord, North Carolina, and Raleigh, which is a couple-hour drive, Lilly, Novo, Roche, there's a ton of plants.
Interesting.
Yeah. Story number 10, sometimes the key to medical success lies not only in the medicine itself, but also in the way we live and behave. That's the lesson from a new Japanese study looking at how eating behaviors may predict who benefits most from GLP-1 therapies, such as Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, and Zepbound. Researchers followed 92 adults with type 2 diabetes who were just starting on GLP-1s. Over the course of a year, the participants saw meaningful improvements in blood sugar, body weight, and body fat. But the real insight came when scientists looked at how those individuals eat. They found that people who tend to overeat in response to external cues, like the smell of fresh baked bread or the sight of someone else enjoying dessert, saw the greatest benefits. Their weight loss was more significant and their blood sugar control improved more consistently. On the other hand, individuals who turned to food mainly to cope with emotions, what's known as emotional eating, did not respond as strongly to the medications. According to the study's senior author, Dr. Daisuke Yabe of Kyoto University, that makes sense. GLP-1 medications are powerful at reducing appetite and blunting those external food triggers, but they don't directly address the deeper psychological factors that drive emotional eating. This research suggests that a simple assessment of eating patterns before therapy could one day help doctors predict how effective the drugs will be for different patients. Of course, the study had its limitations. It was relatively small, and eating habits were self-reported. Still, it offers a glimpse at how personalized medicine might evolve, not just matching the right drug to the right person, but also tailoring treatment based on the way we relate to food. For patients, this is another reminder that GLP-1s are powerful tools, Long-term success often requires more than just medication. In some cases, additional support, whether behavioral counseling therapy or nutrition guidance, may be just as important as the injection itself. Now you looked at this research.
I'm doing a little bit of a deeper dive into emotional eating because I've certainly been an emotional eater at times, so I think it's something a lot of people struggle with. In story number 11, the weight management supplement industry is facing a reality check. For years, powders, pills, and capsules promised to help people slim down. But as millions of Americans turn to GLP-1 medication, sales of traditional weight loss supplements are shrinking fast. As reported by NutraIngredients, Spends, and Nielsen IQ data paint a sobering picture. In mainstream and convenience channels, sales of weight management formulas dropped almost 3% in the past year, from 156 million in August 2024 to 152 million in August 2025. On Amazon, the fall was even steeper. Sales tumbled from 216 million to 186 million, a decline of nearly 14%. Unit sales tell the same story, with a 16% year-over-year drop on Amazon and a 12% decline in physical stores. Meanwhile, GLP-1 medications continue to surge. About 20 million Americans, roughly 6% of the population, are now using them, and their supplement habits are shifting dramatically. Weight loss supplement use among GLP users is down 54%. At the same time, their spending on digestive health products is up 52%, blood sugar management supplements up an astonishing 265%, and beauty supplements up 42%. Brands are pivoting fast. HydroxyCut, once a pure weight loss name, has added new glucose support and berberine formulas. Probiotic and prebiotic companies are launching products marketed specifically to GLP-1 users, and online the change is striking. While weight management probiotics overall nearly 12% in traditional stores, sales of those same products on Amazon soared 84%, climbing from 3.3 million in 2024 to 6.4 million in 2025. There are some bright spots. In the natural channel, sales of weight management formulas actually grew 27% year over year, hiding inside the broader declines. And certain ingredients are booming. Collagen sales jumped 120%, chromium climbed nearly 78%, and berberine exploded more than 5,600%. The McKinsey Future of Wellness survey summed it up. The rise of GLP-1s is reshaping the market, spurring demand for protein or nutrient-fortified goods, gut health products to ease digestive discomfort, and workout programs focused on building and maintaining muscle mass. For patients, this wave of change could be good news. More innovation, more competition, and more attention to the real needs of GLP-1 users, from digestive comfort to muscle preservation. But for supplement makers, the warning is clear: adapt to the GLP-1 era or fade away.
Does that surprise you?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I bought some collagen. Yeah, I've bought some digestive stuff. Yeah, I mean, I think everybody's probably heard of HydroxyCut or tried HydroxyCut. I remember, Dexatrim back in the day. There's been so many pills, powders, and potions, but now we have GLP-1s, and they work. So we don't need that other stuff.
And now people are just spending money in the categories that matter. That wraps up this edition of the Downsized News. If you found it helpful, we hope that you will subscribe to our channel.
Thanks for watching. Please leave us a comment and let us know your favorite story today. Or just leave us a heart if you liked this video. And if you like the news, we have lots of other resources for you. Visit our website at thedownsize.org. There you'll find links to our GLP-1 Amazon store, the 2026 Downsize Cruise, and our email list. Please note that we are Amazon affiliates, and when you shop through our store, you're helping support our channel, The Downsized, at no cost to you. And as always, we thank you for your support.
If you haven't already, please take a moment and like and subscribe this video, and tap that notification bell so you never miss what's coming next. You can also share this video with someone who may be looking for information on GLP-1s. We break down the science so you don't have to. Join us and be a part of our amazing Downsized community.
I'm Laraine Durham.
And I'm Christopher Durham, and we are The Downsized.